EWM, a petition has been presented to Parliament calling on Cannock Chase District Council to scrap controversial plans to redevelop a car park into a shopping and leisure complex. The Tory MP for Cannock Chase, Aidan Burley, says local residents would be forced out of their homes to make way for the scheme in Beecroft Road. Let's talk to him. Aidan Burley, how are you?
Good afternoon, Paul. How are you?
I'm okay, thank you. So, how far along is this project?
Well, I mean, this is a project that simply the council refused to publicly scrap. And over 2,600 local residents who live in very long-established houses around this car park have come together to collect over 2,600 signatures calling on the council to scrap this scheme once and for all. The council have conducted their own sort of consultation exercise, which has seen a much smaller response, just sort of 700 or 800 people. And really, there is no interest in this site. The council have approached developers. No developer wants to build a shopping centre. They've approached stores like Marks and Spencer's and Debenhams. No stores even want to locate there. So there is zero interest in this scheme. I cannot for the life of me think why the council still wants to pursue it. And really what this petition is about is getting some publicity and putting pressure on the council to publicly scrap it once and for all and put the residents' minds at rest.
So it's still hanging over the residents' heads in terms of this development. But if there's no interest in it, then surely they might as well bin it.
I couldn't agree more, and that's exactly the right phrase. This is hanging over their head. They are actually seeing their property prices decreasing by the day. Some of them who want to sell can't sell because potential buyers are asking whether that house is going to be demolished and compulsory purchased in a few years' time. There is absolutely no interest in this scheme from developers or from the shoppers. There's no interest, and actually quite the contrary, from the local residents. So I call upon the council to listen to the people they represent, to stop this kind of Damoclesian sword hanging over their heads, and to reassure them that their homes are safe, their family homes won't be demolished, and to publicly scrap this scheme that nobody wants.
Why are they even considering this project? I mean, are there not other areas that they could develop?
I have no idea, and that is a question you have to ask the council. I think maybe 10 years ago, in a different economic climate, it was probably a good idea to look at increasing, the shopping offer within Cannock's town centre to try and bring in more shoppers and redevelop the town centre. But simply that economic climate doesn't exist today. The council would be much better spending taxpayers' hard-earned money on things like free parking and subsidising business rates to try and get some of the empty units back into use, and to encourage shoppers to park for free and actually go and use the shops that exist, rather than this, frankly, vanity project of trying to build some super shopping centre that simply there isn't the demand for. There may have been 10 years ago, there isn't now. It's not fair on local residents to worry whether their homes are going to be demolished at some point in the future. It's affecting their house prices, and the petition to Parliament is all about calling on Labour and Cannock Chase District Council to get its head out of the sand and to publicly scrap the scheme once and for all.
Free car parking. There's an interesting idea. Should that be happening in all towns and cities to bring trade in? There's a public meeting, I know, happening at Cannock Hospital tonight as well. What's your take on that? What do you know about that?
Well, I mean, this really is the last chance, I would say, for Cannock people to ask questions about Cannock Hospital to the administrators. We've had one of these public meetings before in Cannock, and I have to say I was very disappointed that it was essentially hijacked by nurses who work at Stafford Hospital, who turned it into a real sort of moan about what's going on at Stafford. But this is a chance for local people to ask the questions they want to ask. I hope that they give the people who live in Cannock a fair crack of the whip, many of whom have concerns about some of the proposals for Cannock Hospital. I think there are questions about where the new staff and all the new visitors will park when the use of the hospital is doubled from the current 40% of the building to about 85%. And I think some of them will have questions about Stafford Hospital and the clinical basis for the proposals around paediatrics and maternity. And I just hope that it gives local people a chance to ask those questions, and that this meeting in Cannock isn't hijacked by the professional protesters from Stafford who've got their own meetings in Stafford where they've got their opportunity to put their case.
Aidan Burley, Tory MP for Cannock Chase. Aidan, thanks for joining us.
Thanks, Paul.